DocTalk is brought to you by Merck Animal Health, the science of healthier animals.
Hey folks, welcome to DocTalk. Dr. Dan here. We're going to have a great show. Dr. Wade Nichols from Merck Animal Health is going to be with us. We are celebrating the 30th birthday of Revalor implants, and he's been with it from the very beginning. So when we come back, we're going to learn a lot about implants, a lot about Revalor. Stay tuned.
As dependable as the sunrise, in dairy parlors, open pastures, on ranches and feed yards across America. A place where reputation is more than a name, where the science of healthier animals is a way of life. It's the responsibility that drives who we are and what we do. Every decision, every day. It's your livelihood and our responsibility.
Closed captioning is brought to you by Profusion Drench for beef cattle, a no prescription, no needle supplement. To learn more, go to zenpro.com. ValleyVet.com is your one-stop shop for your every animal need, from prescription meds, vaccines, equipment, and more for the ranch to the show ring. Shop ValleyVet.com for fast shipping and great prices.
Valley Vet Supply.
Hey folks, welcome to DocTalk. I'm Dr. Dan Thompson, and it's a pleasure to have a friend and colleague here, Dr. Wade Nichols. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, we've known each other since before you got your first doctorate.
That's right. my PhD dissertation was something we're going to probably talk a little bit about. But
exactly right.
Dr. Nichols is the Senior Technical Services here for Merck Animal Health, has been with Merck Animal Health and whoever.
Started with Herx to Intervet to Shearing Plow to Merck.
Yeah, and has just been one of those people in our industry that has brought us information, brought us research, worked with us on in the field and in the lab, and we're going to talk about Revalor S implants, their 30th birthday.
Yes, sir.
Isn't that something?
It is. It's 30 years, and I just wonder where in the wide world of sports time is going.
Isn't that something?
You had dark hair when I knew you, and I actually had hair.
But kind of talk me through the history of Revalor implants.
Okay, so before Revalor was approved and introduced, we had Synovex Finaplex. We had to do Synovex S and Finaplex S. We put one in one ear and one in the other ear. It worked well for that time period, but you're dealing with two different companies, two different implants, two different payouts, and it had some inherent problems. The other problem with it was the FDA would not let us talk to feed yard managers about it. The sales guys couldn't talk about it. We couldn't talk to feed yard managers. Now, you and I could talk to each other, professional to professional. We could share data, but FDA said we could not advertise or present any data on that combination. So there was Revalor around the world, and so we started that process to get Revalor approved, and it was finally approved November 27th of 1991. I was hired July of 91 to start do things, to help the process and get it out into the field and, talk to people and do some research and things with it. But so 30 years ago, we got it started. Another couple of aspects probably that people don't realize is that we'd also done a little bit of work comparing cholesterol base and lactose base, and found that cholesterol was a little bit more consistent in its release pattern. Lactose was good, but it was just a little more variable. Also with steers, we found that 5-to-1 versus 10-to-1 in steers tended to be a little bit better. So when we did the dose titration, then we went with cholesterol base and the 5-to-1 combination.
And the 5-to-1 is the amount of TBA to estradiol.
Correct, exactly. TBA over estradiol. I guess I should have.
Yeah.
I just figure everybody knows what I know.
That's
so.
Okay. We're just in the process of learning that. So you start out with that. Then where did you go from 5-to-1 with cholesterol?
Well, then you have to do the dose titration. So we had control and 140 milligrams of TBA, 30 of estradiol, and then went 20 over 4, 80 over 16, and then 140 over 28. And interesting, I don't know, people forget it or they didn't know, but TBA is not the most powerful hormone in our combination. Estradiol is. 140 milligrams of TBA was really not different than control. 30 milligrams of estradiol was highly significant, but if you put 20 over 4, then that was highly significant. So you put the combination together and you get that synergistic response in those two and really do well together. And that's what we've done. Since 1987, we've proved that. So it's done very well.
Well, it's a rich history. It's something it would be interesting to know how much money it's brought back to the cattle feeding sector and the cow-calf producer over the last 30 years. But we'll get into more of that as we go here in the show.
Perfect.
We've got Dr. Wade Nichols here. When we get back, we'll have more. If you missed Caregiver Camp this year, don't worry. We'll have more camps in 2022 at Knopfsinger Ranch in Benkelman, Nebraska. The camp is an opportunity for new and veteran employees to receive one-on-one instruction in a relaxed environment from Dr. Tom Knopfsinger, Dr. Kip Lucasavage, and Ted Howard on cattle handling, horsemanship, animal health, disease detection, and team interaction. At Caregiver Camp, people learn how to grow, how to trust, and open lines of contact between animals and humans. These principles will allow you to build relationships with your own livestock and team. For more information and future dates, visit our events page at packdvms.com.
Dr. Nels here, folks. We're super excited about this book on hiring. Have you made a bad hire? Have you hired someone you wish you wouldn't have? Are you looking to hire? This is a great short read on helping you in the hiring process. You can find it on Amazon, Kindle, Audible, or find it at drnels.com. Check it out there. We'd love to see you there.
Producers know stress costs money. It puts their cattle at greater risk of illness and can be a substantial drain on animal performance. That's why ZenPro developed ProFusion Drench for beef cattle. Formulated with ZenPro's patented trace mineral technology, ProFusion Drench is a no-script, no-needle performance supplement proven to rapidly replenish essential nutrients lost during times of stress. For optimal results, use ProFusion Drench with ZenPro Performance Minerals in feed as part of a complete nutrition program. To learn more, go to zenpro.com. ValleyVet.com is your one-stop shop for your every animal need. From prescription meds, vaccines, equipment, and more for the ranch to the show ring. Shop ValleyVet.com for fast shipping and great prices.
Valley Vet Supply.
Hey folks, welcome back to DocTalk. Dr. Dan Thompson here with Dr. Wade Nichols. He is the Senior Tech Services Manager for Merck Animal Health. And has been a friend and colleague for many decades, and we've worked on implants, we've worked on cattle growth, and so talk a little bit more about going back to that history of when you were getting the approval of the different concentrations.
Right. So when we were doing the dose titration, I said we started with control and worked all the way up to 140 milligrams of TBA with 28 of estradiol. Well, you know that Revalor S is 120 milligrams of TBA and 24 of estradiol. So we thought when we were doing these dose titrations that we were going to get 140 over 28. But the FDA developed a growth curve, and they said that this point at 120/24 is not significantly different than 140/28. So they gave us the 120/24, and that's what we had to do our trials with. So that was a pretty big surprise to us actually, because what we call the European dose is worldwide is 140.28 worldwide, and we're the only ones in Canada that have 120.24.
Huh.
So,
and it was just based on the statistics and the math on the pivotal study. They said these 2 points are not different, therefore you're going to go to the lower dose.
that's correct. We're going to give you the least dose for the maximum effect. So there was numerical difference, but not a significant difference. So they gave us that lower dose.
So from that point, where did where did we go and what did we have happen?
Well, so from there, we had some INAD numbers left over, so FDA allowed us to do several trials looking at different reimplant strategies, and so we completed those prior to launch, actually. And we did 5 trials looking at just Revalor by itself and then different reimplant strategies, so we'd have something that we could take to the industry, and try to indicate where we needed to use Revalor in the best way to get that done at that time. And so we used Synovex Revalor. We promoted a lot of Synovex Revalor at that time, simply because of marbling. We had a lot of choice select spread. We were selling a lot of cattle on a live basis, and selling cattle live versus carcass is a vastly different endpoints. So at that time, we were a lot more moderate in our implant strategies than we are today, simply because of how we were selling cattle.
Yeah, when we went from selling live and to selling carcass, it changed number of days on feed. It changed the strategies in which we implant just tremendously.
Tremendously, yeah. We've got, so now we're 85% choice and prime,
Yep.
basically, and back then we were 45 and 50%, and so it's kind of funny because in the TCFA area, everybody said, well, those cattle, they just naturally won't grade. Well, now we were about 35, 40%. Well, now when we change the marketing basis and we're selling on a carcass basis, now those cattle are grading 65 and 70%. It wasn't that they couldn't grade, we just weren't getting them fat enough to get their genetic potential. So now we've changed our implant strategy. We're much more aggressive today than we've ever been, and it's not affecting grade at all because we're taking cattle to the right endpoints.
Right, that's taking cattle, the two groups that we didn't care about how we implant, the ones that never graded and the ones that always graded.
Right, exactly.
And then we get in the middle is when we can really have some
Exactly
effect.
right. Yeah. Genetics you can't do anything about. It's the other ones in the middle we can work around and get them to perform like we want them.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Well, let's take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk about some of the research and the different things that Dr. Nichols has been involved with, Merck Animal Health, and so much more. It's the 30th birthday of Revalor implants. More to come right after these messages.
Time is money on the farm, and your cows are less productive when they're stressed. The Alertus on-farm test from IDEXX allows you to quickly test cowside and identify open or pregnant cows within minutes on your schedule in the parlor, barn, or chute. It's more efficient for your farm, very simple to use, and puts you in control. With minimal training and reliable, fast results, sample-based pregnancy testing is better for beef and dairy producers. Learn more at idexx.com/DocTalk.
Innovative low-stress cattle handling equipment is key to efficiency and safety. At Daniels Manufacturing Company, we design systems using the best materials. We work with top producers from all over the world who use Daniels products on their operations. We concentrate on quality, prioritizing the safety of the animals and their handlers. Each product is carefully crafted and inspected to ensure your system will last for many years. Whether your operation is small or large, Daniels Manufacturing Company can design a facility to meet your needs. Visit us online or call to see how we can improve your cattle handling facility.
As dependable as the sunrise, in dairy parlors, open pastures, on ranches and feed yards across America. A place where reputation is more than a name, where the science of healthier animals is a way of life. It's the responsibility that drives who we are and what we do. Every decision, every day. It's your livelihood and our responsibility.
ValleyVet.com is your one-stop shop for your every animal need, from prescription meds, vaccines, equipment, and more for the ranch to the show ring. Shop ValleyVet.com for fast shipping and great prices.
Valley Vet Supply.
Hey folks, welcome back to Doc Talk. Dr. Dan Thompson here with Dr. Wade Nichols. He's up here in Iowa visiting us and took time out of his busy schedule to come and be on Doc Talk. And Dr. Nichols has been with Revalor from the beginning. And yes, Revalor implants, now we're having their 30th birthday. And there's probably nothing that has more biological or economical impact on feeding cattle than steroid implants, period. And when we got that product, and it still is something that is used every day, you know, my major professor, Dr. Preston, who you did work with, always said that, you know, that as we implant these animals, there's nothing that's going to bring a bigger return back to the cattle feeder. And some of those things that you've done and the research that has been stimulated in animal physiology has just, you've been a part of a lot of it, haven't you?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's amazing that, you know, and thank goodness to the industry that they love Revalor and they bought Revalor, which allowed us to put a tremendous amount of money back into research. And so part of that research, of course, is just head-to-head trials, you know, and trying to figure out which implant to use at the right time, whether it's ours or somebody else's, you know, in front or as a terminal implant. But in addition to that, you know, we've done a lot of things for the industry in terms of mode of action, trying to figure out how these things work, you know, from the anterior pituitary to the liver to satellite cell proliferation and those kind of things, and which, whether TBA or estradiol is affecting which one of those. And I'll tell you, we still don't know the answer. And I tell you, when I die, God and I are going to sit down and have a good talk.
Yeah,
but we found out a lot of things.
I always hated the question on my prelims was, why does a steroid implant work in a pig or in a steer but not in a pig?
Yeah.
And you're just like,
I don't know.
I don't know. They just do, and they just don't. But so aside from the basic physiology and tracing that mode of action, y'all have, and then the head-to-head, you also have done a lot of work on optimum endpoints and different cattle that maybe has something to do with implants, but a lot more to do with helping people know when to market cattle.
Yeah, so again, the amount of money we've been able to spend in research just to find answers for the industry in terms of sorting cattle, you know, what we can do and endpoints, you know, in different terms of sorting and making different pins, so we get those cattle to the optimum endpoint. You know, Giroy and Hutchison over there, they would say that 28.6% empty body fat, you know, is an optimum. It gives the animal its genetic capability to express its genetic for marbling. You got to get them that fat, and that's basically how we're trying to get there. So we've done a lot of sorting. We've done a ton of serial harvest. We've done 21 serial harvest studies.
Now, a serial harvest study is when you kill animals at different endpoints along the way to see how that carcass is changing from how many days, you know, 140 days to 160 days to 180 days.
That's correct. So if we get a set of cattle in and their nominal endpoint or day of harvest is 180, you know, we'll go 21 to 42 days in front of that and 21 to 42 days in back of that to see how that carcass is changing over time. Since we sell most of our cattle today on a carcass basis, that's really important for the feedlot owner and the nutritionist to understand. So if I've got 180-day cattle, what's it going to do at 200 days? What's it going to look like at 240 days? Or prices get, you know, corn goes really high, what can I give up at 160 days?
Yep.
And we have a ton of that data. And that, you know, it's kind of where the nutritionist part of Merck has gone, is a lot of that kind of research and trying to help the industry understand growth over time so you can make these economic decisions in the face of high corn prices or low cattle prices or whatever. You can plug those into a model and kind of give you an idea, you know. I mean, you're not going to be able to get by nature itself, but it will give you a good idea of where those endpoints are.
Definitely some variation, but it gets you in the right ballpark.
Correct.
Let's take a break. When we come back, we're going to wrap up with Dr. Wade Nichols. You're watching Doc Talk, and we're sure glad you joined us.
Some call it a come-from-behind victory, an unlikely win, a reversal of fortune, snatching victory from the jaws of defeat. This is our moment. our victory dance, because we choose confidence. We choose Zuprevo for BRD treatment. Ask your veterinarian to prescribe Zuprevo. Zuprevo is a fast-acting, long-lasting BRD treatment that you can count on to get the job done. Choose confidence. Choose Zuprevo from Merck Animal Health.
Time is money on the farm, and your cows are less productive when they're stressed. The Alertus on-farm test from IDEXX allows you to quickly test cowside and identify open or pregnant cows within minutes on your schedule in the parlor, barn, or chute. It's more efficient for your farm, very simple to use, and puts you in control. With minimal training and reliable, fast results, sample-based pregnancy testing is better for beef and dairy producers. Learn more at idexx.com/DocTalk.
ValleyVet.com is your one-stop shop for your every animal need, from prescription meds, vaccines, equipment, and more for the ranch to the show ring. Shop ValleyVet.com for fast shipping and great prices.
Valley Vet Supply.
Hey folks, welcome back to Doc Talk. Dr. Dan Thompson here with Dr. Wade Nichols, and we are celebrating, I wish, our 30th birthday. It's not our 30th.
Well, we can. It's just you just subtract a little.
The 30th birthday of Revalor Implants, and Dr. Nichols is the Senior Technical Services Manager for Merck Animal Health and has been involved with Revalor Implants from conception. And let's talk about economics and return on investment for implants.
So there's very few things that we can do in the cattle business that have a bigger ROI, return on investment, than implanting an animal. You know, when I first started, you know, guy told me one time they have to have a 7 to 10 return on investment before a feed yard would actually implement some new process. So we did the math at that time. We were selling Revalor S for $335, and it was like an 8 to 10 return on investment. So nowadays, with the way prices are, we get more for our cattle, and we actually pay less for our implants. The ROI on implants today is 25 to 30 to 1. And so if you do that math, implants are worth $15 to $16 a piece. That's the return that you get on those. You're going to only pay $2, but they're worth $15 to $16.
Yeah.
So, you know, they're just the things that they do, and for the industry, it's phenomenal what they can do.
Yeah, if we're not implanting a calf in a feed yard, you better have one heck of a marketing platform of where you're selling those animals, because you're going to need a huge premium.
Exactly. And, you know, we can go all the way back to the calf, too. All the way back to calf.
Absolutely.
You know, the return on investment of them is just as high now.
But then, as we think about that and we go back to the consumer side or to the natural resources side, not only are we creating this economic return, which is great for the industry and great for the people that are in it, but we're also doing more for sustainability and environmental stewardship by using these products as well.
Absolutely. So if you think about, you know, if we put 200 pounds just in the feed yard, so, you know, we're going to look at 195, 200 pounds overall with the same amount of resources. So the per pound return to the society, to the environment, is tremendous. That sustainability, there's nothing that's more sustainable than doing a whole lot more with a lot less, and that's what implants allow us to do.
If it takes less natural resources, I heard a thing that if we didn't use steroid implants, we would need to produce the same amount of beef in the U.S. We would need a cornfield the size of Iowa.
That's right.
To make up the lost feed efficiency and carcass efficiency of
what the implants bring.
What the implants bring.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, the numbers, if you're going to produce the same amount of beef, like you said, it's going to take a lot more numbers and a lot more feed to get that done. And we do, you know, if we look at the numbers, we don't even have numbers available. We don't have land space enough to get that done. So, you know, we're either going to do a lot less or we're not going to be able to do it at all. Which brings up another point, the people that don't want to implant or want to get rid of implants for whatever reason, they're cutting their own throat, because they get a premium for non-implanted, but you can't break the laws of economics. You cannot drop that price down as under the conventional price. It'll just drive it right back down. Now it costs you $200 more per head to get there.
Exactly.
So how many people are going to go out of business?
Too many.
Too many.
And as we sit there, I just want to say thank you.
Absolutely.
Thanks for being on the show, but thanks for all you do for the industry, and what a great product and what a great set of research and information.
Absolutely. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thanks for watching DocTalk. If you want to learn more about what we do, you can find us on the web at www.doctalktv.com. Always work with your local veterinarian, and I have to say nutritionist,
Attaboy.
because Dr. Wade is here.
He's half.
That's right, half nutritionist. From Dr. Wade Nichols and Dr. Dan Thompson here in Ames, Iowa, we'll see you down the road.
Closed captioning is brought to you by Profusion Drench for beef cattle, a no prescription, no needle supplement. To learn more, go to zenpro.com. DocTalk was brought to you by Merck Animal Health, the science of healthier animals.
As dependable as the sunrise, in dairy parlors, open pastures, on ranches and feed yards across America. A place where reputation is more than a name, where the science of healthier animals is a way of life. It's the responsibility that drives who we are and what we do. Every decision, every day. It's your livelihood and our responsibility.